All right, let's dive right into this explainer. When we look at the architecture of a typical home, the basement, it's not really just another room, is it? It operates as this bizarre liminal space. It's the literal and metaphorical underground of our lives, the exact place where the familiar, cozy safety of our suburban sanctuary just kind of vanishes into cold concrete floors, exposed framing, and, well, shadows. Today, we're unpacking 4 completely terrifying, fully documented case studies that show us exactly why this space triggers such a massive primal response. So why are we all secretly afraid of the basement? I mean, we love to tell ourselves it's just a childish fear of the dark, or maybe an overactive imagination working overtime. But actually, scratch that. Today, we're going to look at 4 real-world events that prove our darkest, creepiest fears are 100% justified. We are not talking about ghost stories here. We're talking about physical, structural breaches of our safety.
Let's get right into it with Case 1, the hidden roommate. Just imagine moving into your very first place, only to realize you're actually not living there alone.
So picture this, a 24-year-old, fresh out of college, moves into this house with a really spacious but heavily partitioned basement. It's literally a maze of plywood down there, the kind of layout where you can't see the whole space from any single spot. One weeknight, he heads downstairs to do a quick load of laundry. He turns a corner and locks eyes with a filthy stranger who is just crouching right behind a folding table. I mean, imagine the visceral panic. The intruder immediately bolts deeper into this basement maze. And then, click, the lights completely cut out. Now there's just total disorientation in pitch black. The homeowner starts screaming, trying to sound big and intimidating, only for the unseen intruder to just start screaming right back from the darkness, sounding completely unhinged. The homeowner is frantically feeling around, finally finds the stairs by touch, but right as he takes that very first step up, a hand violently grabs his ankle out of the dark and tries to drag him backward. Somehow, he miraculously manages to kick the guy off, scramble up those stairs, and just throws his entire body weight against the unlockable door while the man is literally bashing against it from the other side. By the time the police finally show up, the guy's gone. But the cops make a totally chilling discovery. Nothing in the house was stolen, and that light switch that plunged the room into darkness, it was hidden in a really unusual, hard-to-find spot. This man wasn't just breaking in to rob the place. He knew the layout way better than the actual homeowner did, because he was already secretly living down there. Okay, moving right along to Case 2, the methodical predator. For this one, we're shifting our focus to a super quiet suburban neighborhood, and a 14-year-old who is left home alone for the night. He's just spending the evening playing Halo in the living room, right? Everything seems perfectly normal. But then, he hears this tapping on the outside siding of the house. At first, he rationalizes it, figures it's just a tree branch scraping in the wind. But then the sound actually migrates along the wall. About 20 minutes go by, and the tapping moves directly beneath him. It's coming from the unfinished basement right below the living room floorboards. He gets pretty nervous, walks over to the basement door, cracks it open just a bit, and yells, "Hello," down into the dark. The tapping instantly stops. Whatever this unseen entity was, it was literally testing the perimeter before breaching the basement down below. He is absolutely terrified to go down those stairs, as you would be. So he just cracks the door a little wider, blindly sticks his phone into the pitch black and hits record with the flash on, just to see what's down there. When he pulls the video back up on his screen to watch it, he sees it. In just a fraction of a second, the grainy footage clearly reveals a figure standing right underneath one of the basement windows, inside the house. It's one of those modern tech moments meeting pure primal fear, capturing the exact second this kid realizes he is definitely not alone. He immediately screams, bolts upstairs to lock himself in his bedroom, and dials 911. And while he's on the phone with dispatch, the intruder actually starts violently banging on the basement door, actively trying to break into the main house. By the time the police arrive, the man has already slipped back out through the window. But when they go down to search the basement kitchenette, they find something absolutely horrifying. The biggest knife in the knife block was missing. The intruder was gone, yeah? But the undeniable lethal intent to do harm was left right there behind him. All right, Case 3, the impossible escape. Now, this scenario shifts our setting to a fully finished, comfortable basement. A place that's actually designed to feel super safe and cozy. It's a Friday night, and a 16-year-old is just hanging out down there with his friend Madeline. They've got a nice sectional couch, a big TV, the whole shebang. But as we're learning, a finished basement really just masks the psychological dread of being underground.
Out of nowhere, they start hearing this faint rustling sound coming from a really dark storage room in the back. Now, their expectation, it's just Rocky. That's the family's highly active cat, probably just playing around in some empty boxes. Standard stuff. But then, the 16-year-old hears a scratching sound coming from the door at the very top of the basement stairs. The reality hits him like a ton of bricks. Rocky is locked upstairs. And at that exact moment, Madeline screams. Because out of that pitch-black storage room, a foam football comes rolling across the floor. Someone hidden in the dark had literally just tossed it out at them. They sprint upstairs in absolute terror, lock the door behind them, and immediately call the cops. The 16-year-old runs straight to the back deck and just stares, unblinking, at the only exit from the garage, making sure this intruder absolutely cannot slip away unseen. But here's the wild part: the impossible physics of the escape. When the police finally sweep the entire basement and the garage, they find absolutely no one. Nothing. All the windows were locked from the inside, there were zero signs of forced entry, and that only exit path was heavily monitored the entire time. It left the family dealing with this terrifying reality that the intruder seemingly just vanished into thin air. That brings us to case 4, the family secret. And this one takes a deeply personal turn, showing us how the basement can harbor a whole lot more than just random strangers. We have a 9-year-old boy staying up late on a weekend, just playing his PlayStation down in his basement. But there's this one specific zone down there that always freaks him out. It's this windowless, pitch-black laundry boiler room that's constantly making all these strange, unsettling noises. On this particular night, he hears the heavy boiler room door physically creak open. Then there's this super uncomfortable silence, which is finally broken by the sound of a woman groaning. It's this weird, ghost-like groan, but it sounds exactly like his mom. So he steps into the darkness, completely convinced that his mom is just pulling some elaborate, weird prank on him. He walks right up to the open doorway and spots the silhouette of a person standing there in the pitch black. But as he gets a little closer, his brain finally registers this horrific truth. That outline does not belong to his mother. He screams in absolute raw terror, scrambles as fast as he can up the stairs to the living room and shouts, "There's a woman in the laundry room." And he shouts this right at his actual parents, who are both sitting right there on the couch. His parents just exchange this immediate, panicked look, sprint downstairs, and slam the basement door shut. Now, the very next morning, his parents try to completely play it off. They tell him, "Oh, it was just a visiting friend pulling a prank, don't worry about it." But as the years go by, the name Debbie accidentally slips out in conversation a few times. So when the boy turns 14, he decides to do a little deep dive of his own. He logs onto a family tree website, plugs in his parents' info, and discovers that his mother actually had a sister named Debbie. He goes to Google her name along with his mom's maiden name, looking for maybe a Facebook page or something. But he doesn't find a social media profile. He finds an obituary. Debbie was dead. He prints the obituary out, runs straight to his parents, and just demands an explanation. Finally forced into a corner, his dad just mutters two completely defeated words, "Tell him." So the mother finally confesses the whole thing. Debbie wasn't some family friend pulling a harmless prank. She was her deeply mentally unstable sister who had a very real history of harming people. She had secretly breached the house that night and was just lurking right beneath them in the dark. It was a massive family secret, quite literally hidden in the basement. All right, the ultimate unknown. Let's pull all these threads together. Through these 4 documented cases, we've really seen how the basement transforms from this boring utility space into a theater of genuine horror. So why exactly does the basement bypass our locked front doors and those fancy, sophisticated alarm systems? Well, it's because it's physically isolated from the rest of the house. It really operates as the subconscious of the home. It's the place where we bury the things we just don't want to look at. It houses our most primal, deeply rooted feelings of the dark, and it represents this ultimate vulnerability. As we've seen today, it leaves us completely exposed to hidden squatters, to methodical predators, to impossible disappearances, and yeah, even to our own deeply buried family secrets. The basement is this constant reminder that no matter how safe and secure we feel sitting in our brightly lit living rooms, there is always a dark space right beneath our feet. So, what exactly is hiding in the dark beneath your floorboards? I want you to just ponder that the next time you have to go down those stairs to do a load of laundry in the dead of night. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.